What is the most embarrassing thing on your first date? Let's see what other people experienced and think of it together. Hi everyone, I'm a Reddit newbie and figured I'd dive in by sharing an embarrassing story because we need more laughs. It's a bit long, so bear with me. So after 2 weeks of me, 33years female, dating this guy. I'll call Tom, he is 29years male. I had a week off from work. The connection was so extraordinary between us that he decided to take a week off too, so we could go on vacation together. Pretty fast, I admit, but hey, when you know. Our first day we explored a quaint coastal town, ate a lot, laughed a ton and made out like teenagers every few minutes. As night fell, we needed to look for his car to return to our Airbnb, but couldn't remember where we'd parked. I thought I'd saved the GPS location and we followed it, but to no avail. After about 20 minutes of walking and endless chatter, there came a stomach gurgle which silenced me immediately. Not just a regular stomach sound, oh no my friends. This was more like a war crew. Once the first was released, the others followed suit. And my stomach began to feel very much out of sorts. War had been declared. I felt an accompanying wave of nausea, and instantly regretted all the rich chocolate pastries I'd ingested earlier. Damn my weakness for sweetness. Feeling 100, I fell silent because I knew from experience that if I were to awaken the sleeping dragon, all hell would break loose, and with handsome Tom next to me that could not happen. I continued silently while he was animatedly telling me a story. I threw in the occasional haha, oh my god, and really? To throw him off from figuring out that something was very, very wrong. And started to feel cold. It was about 9 degrees. As if on cue for the chaos that was about to ensure. It began to rain. Not just like a slight drizzle, no, torrential rain. Like cats and dogs type rain. Then the wind began to howl. No joke. I swear the FX team up above was playing me hard. I remember thinking, are you freaking kidding me? Here I am in the middle of nowhere in a storm with all the shops and restaurants closed for the day and a hot stud at my side. An explosive diarrhea about to spray from my butthole. I thought to myself, this is it, this is how I die, oh cruel, cruel life. At that moment Tom looked me and said, you're awfully quiet all of a sudden, gorgeous. The rain hid the beads of sweat that had accumulated from me. Tightly my sphincter muscles. Silently screaming to my body that it was not yet time to release the kraken. Let's hurry up so we could get out of this mess and be warm and cozy at home. Sigh. So naive, this young grasshopper. I then stopped, looked him dead in the eye and responded through semi-clenched teeth. I can't walk fast right now, in fact I can't walk at all. Y'all. At that point I revealed the rumbles in my tummy to him. I was too far gone to be embarrassed. I was in survival mode. Death by diarrhea was not going to be written in my tombstone. The only thing that prevented me from releasing myself there and then was Tom's presence, as well as the fact that I was freezing and had on several layers. And it was raining and I could not allow myself to end up covered in poop stains and then get into his car, which we still couldn't locate, by the way. I was not about to poop myself in front of my potential future husband. Not today, Satan. I rebuke thee. People of Reddit. This is when I knew this one was a special one. The man immediately had a plan. He walked me to a closed shop to shelter underneath near a traffic light, and said he'd search for the car. His phone had died, so he asked for mine and took a video of where I was to be able to find me back if necessary. He then kissed me on my forehead and said he'd be back soon and that if I had to poop on the pavement to just do it. There were cars driving by the way. I sat in front the closed shop window. Sitting was a lot better than standing. Easier on my overworked sphincter muscles. And was shivering from the cold. And the desperate need to release the poison from my bowels. After what felt like an eternity, and me wondering if this man had decided to just leave me and have a new $10 phone as his own, his red car honked and pulled up on the curb. And the man got out in the pouring rain to get me and open the door for me. As I hobbied in, yes, I swooned despite the face that I was low-key dying. Guys, I almost didn't make it back to our Airbnb. The grimaces, moans and facial expressions were very unsexy. Unless you're into that. Different strokes for different folks, ya know. And at one point Tom turned to me, took my hand and said gently, if you need to poop in your pants and in the car you can. I have my dog's towel in the back. It's covered in white dog hair, but who cares? Y'all. If this ain't the one, I give up on love. With every fiber of being in my body I willed myself not to give in to the demands of my bowels on this first day of vacation with this amazing man. Finally we got up to the Airbnb. He ended up having to carry me. And as I sat on the toilet, after forcing him to get outside and listen to music with the headphones on, I finally released a gasp of simultaneous relief and anguish. As I gave in to the sweet surrender and expelled every iota of demonic waste from the hell that was my bowels. I stayed on that seat until my legs went numb. And I nearly blacked out. I even went back 4 times total. My guy took great care of me and made sure I was hydrated, and that night after I felt better and laughed about the ordeal, we ended up making love 4 times. After I'd thoroughly washed every orifice of my being from the day's trauma. And yes, 4 times. The number of times this princess had to use the porcelain throne. Romantic, no? Double swoon. And yes to all the romantics out there. We are currently in the happiest, healthiest, and most loving relationship. Let's see if in a few years I'll edit this to say we're still together? Hee. For now I'll leave it here for you all to have a chuckle, since I can more than laugh about it now. Ironically enough, I still can't allow myself to fart around him. That's such a great story. A good man or woman knows that can't be helped, and his reaction was pure perfection. Congratulations on a funny in hindsight start to a great relationship. Haha, thank you for appreciating my experience. The fact that we got over that in the very beginning has made the rest of the relationship smooth sailing, since there's nothing more to really be embarrassed about. Except that, as I'd mentioned, I still can't just rip one in front of him. Not yet, at least. Gotta maintain a modicum of ladylikeness, hee. I seen a long essay and thought I might give it a skip. But glad I read it. I feel your pain, sister, haha. Such a lovely man, he's definitely a keeper. Haha, I appreciate you reading it and glad you enjoyed it. Yet I def ain't letting this one go, hee. Haha, it was a good way to break the ice with getting the embarrassing stuff out of the way right at the start. You are the godliest, funniest, and charismatic storyteller. Ahaha, cheers to you both. Aw, thank you so much. Glad you enjoyed it. I can sure as heck laugh at that story now. But best believe I couldn't even crack a smile during what we now call the incident, haha. Thanks for sharing those laughs. You had me walking blindly on the sidewalk laughing and reading your story. This is actually so true. I was in no mood to read the whole thing, but the way The OP has written the story just makes it so hilarious and wholesome. Appreciate you taking the time to read my first lengthy post and glad you enjoyed it. Yes to this. Great writing and storytelling skills. Ha ha ha, this story is giving me life. I'm crying with laughter. What a guy. Ha ha, a true champ indeed. Ha ha ha. Thanks for the good laugh. I can imagine how difficult it is to suppress a diarrhea. I've been in a similar situation before. I was on a date with this guy. And we were watching a movie in a theater house. When all of a sudden I felt a pang of pain on my lower abdomen. I later realized that I got my period and I don't have a pad. After the movie, I've got a big red stain on my pants. I was so embarrassed I had to borrow his jacket to cover it. Oh my god. Defo embarrassing, thanks for sharing. Haha. I know, right? Plot twist. We've been together for 4 years now. This is adorable. Hopefully that will be me in some years, haha. And I'll be able to update this story outcome. 30years male. One time me, 18years at the time. And an ex-lady, 17 years at the time, had some shower time. I understand the difficulties of lining that up right. But we had accommodating heights, so it was kinda awesome. We were going hot and heavy when she devilishly suggests we try another door. Not really my style, but I figure what the hell, it's an experience. And we're in the shower, so I figure we'll just clean up after. There's one thing, Thea, that I know now that I didn't back then. You don't just go for that kind of thing. There's a lot of preparation leading up to it. If you and your partner are that adventurous, do not under any circumstances, just go for it. Well, we did. I'm not some outrageously endowed stallion. But that didn't really matter. With our ignorance and lack of preparation, I just went for it. She immediately passed out cold and collapsed. On her way down, she whacked her head on the faucet of the tub, leaving an awful red mark on her head. I picked her up and carried her to the nearest bed, which was my brother's room. She was completely unresponsive, and I actually thought she was dead for a second. I wasn't very religious at the time, but I prayed over her and sobbed for her to wake up. She finally slowly opened her eyes to see my ugly mug. "We are never doing that again," she muttered. "We never did, and I've made it clear that I won't. In every relationship going forward." Traumatic at the time, but I LOL to myself every once in a while about the whole situation. That's cute, it shows he is a nice guy if he takes care of you when you're sick. Yup. Especially in the earlies. He's definitely a keeper. I wish you nothing but happiness. This sounds like anal with extra steps. The way you wrote this was bloody amazing. For a while I was expecting a sad story in the beginning, but I'm glad it didn't go that way. Also, you should write a book. Your writing style is fun new. Thank you kindly. I have so many stories to share that perhaps I will one day. I've always been told my life could be a series, LOL. Glad you appreciated my embarrassing experience. And yes, fortunately for him and I, my body did not betray me in the worst way. That would have been horrible. Ha ha ha, yeah, it would have been super embarrassing. But hey, now you guys have got a great story to share. And if I may give a little advice, he's probably cool with it if you want to fart around him. No offense, but this is the funniest story I've heard, just because the way you wrote it. And I can relate to this. I've never been to date or anything, but the sudden urge to explode underneath. I was traveling with my cousins out of state. So when we were hungry we were not able to find restaurant that provided the food we used to eat. The native food of that region sucked. Everyone ate and had their tummy full. But just after 30 minutes or so the same feeling you had come to me. I'm going to make it short from now. I went through the exact same thing as you had gone. And we were in a town with tove shops / as it was a holiday, so I was starting to feel like I was going to explode literally. And I asked the driver to stop abruptly. I even thought of dying for a moment, to be honest. And finally I pooped on the roadside. And yes, there were people walking by. It is still the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. This happened to me when I was 17, now I'm 18. Haha, so sorry about your torture as well. I literally questioned whether that was the way I would die or not. Tummy problems aren't fun. And no offense taken, my dear. I'm glad you found it funny as I do now. Back then it definitely wasn't. Haha. I was riding the bus home from work. About a 1.5 hour ride. Los Angeles at rush hour time. And was having the same issues. Just desperately had to have diarrhea. Once I got off the bus I had a 3-block walk to my apartment. I made it just feet from the front door and I couldn't go one more second. I knew if I walked in that door I would end up pooping all over the elevator. So I did the only thing I could possibly do. I pulled down my pants beside the building and the volcano erupted. I then told my roommate that if he went downstairs to take out for trash, the dumpster was beside the building. And I had tried as much as possible to hide besides the dumpster. And he saw what looked like an elephant had diarrhea. That it was me. He still brings it up years later. I don't remember eating anything that had triggered it. I had had a double shift at work that day. And had 4 shots of espresso trying to stay awake. So that may have been related. I laugh now, but walking those 3 blocks was horrible. It is funny when we think about it now. But the feeling one had on that day is unforgettable. I don't know what is wetter. Me from the tears I cried. You from the sopping wet rain. Or that poor porcelain bowl you punished. Haha, my cheeks hurt from this comment. Oh my god, this is hilarious and a great read. Thanks for sharing. Haha. Thanks for appreciating it. Oh my god, this is the only story on this sub so far that has made me legitimately jealous. Where did you find this prince? Haha, we found each other on. What? People on Tinder are so flaky. This makes it even more amazing. I've actually met amazing guys on Tinder. It has a rep for being a hookup app, but you use it for what you want. I just wanted to meet great people. Which I did until I decided I wanted more. Eventually it got tiring and ironically I ended up meeting my guy when I was on it about to uninstall. I saw that he'd super liked me and messaged me immediately after we'd matched, and the rest is history. Haha. He wasn't looking to just hook up either. Just be honest about what you want from the beginning. There's good advice 1. I've deleted almost all dating apps from my phone. Need to take a little break and work on myself too. It's cute that he super liked you. He definitely seems to be for a keeper based on what you've told us. I took breaks as well and worked on myself. Just remember you will be able to 100% work on yourself before meeting someone. You grow from reships with others. So it's important to be content alone, yes. But understand that we need others as well. Yes, as far we've been great, which is something given these strange COVID times. Best of luck to you. I completely agree. Thanks a lot. Best of luck to you as well. That's awesome. Thanks for watching my video.